today. This is Willem Booth. I'm the owner, founder, president of Booth Coffee Consulting. I would like to take this opportunity to talk about our viewpoints and our philosophies about the training programs that we have been involved with so often during the past 7 years. So some of the basic viewpoints basically go directly back to the structure of today's coffee industry, which is a structure that's, as you can see in the schematic unloading here, that's defined by the fact that farmers and millers, before they can get their product out to the roaster, they have to overcome the hurdles of middlemen, exporters, importers in that process. So my key question always is, if you would be a farmer and you would have to communicate the unique value, the unique quality of your product, how would you go about that? And that simple question is basically exemplifies the fact that for today's farmers it's not easy to get recognition for your unique work. On the other side, also for roasters, it can be very challenging to find those unique qualities. So that by itself basically explains the necessity of transparency by direct communication between roasters and farmers, producers and exporters, and also the necessity that roasters get off their chair and educate their suppliers about the qualities they look for, to create a basic understanding with suppliers about their requirements. Vice versa also, I believe that for farmers and producers it's important to try to meet their clients and educating them about the unique elements of their products, the unique elements of their culture, and what motivates them to produce quality. If we discuss a little bit more that world of the farmers, which is an intriguing world but also a tough world, I've seen more and more over the last years, well, roasters are becoming more educated about agronomy and about processing, that at times they can be very patronizing to farmers. We don't always realize how challenging the world of a farmer is. So if you're a roaster and you're telling the farmer, oh, you have to pick ripe cherries only because that's a better quality, have you ever realized that for a farmer picking ripe cherries only can be a challenge, can be specifically difficult when cash is badly needed to feed your children? Or have you ever wondered as a roaster how difficult it can be for farmers to adopt sustainable production methods if there's no sufficient premium in the end for the product? And how about transparency and traceability? Roasters today are so full of transparency and traceability. They want to know more about the origin of their green beans. How about the farmer? Can he request transparency? Can he request from the roaster some openness about where this product goes and how it's being sold, and how much added value is created through the chain? So those are some key questions on the farming end. So another key question is, when we talk about quality, about the ripeness of the coffee. Obviously we know that a ripe cherry gives a better product. So a cherry, as we see it all the way on the left, green, hard, the opposite of ripe, that cherry will most likely under all conditions produce a sour product. A slightly unripe cherry or an almost ripe cherry, like the second and third cherry from the left, they still don't give this sweet coffee. So sweet coffee really can be produced by ripe cherries. Complex tasting coffee need ripe cherries. Overripe cherries, like the second from the right, or totally overripe cherries, can produce interesting flavors sometimes, but they can cause major challenges or opportunities actually for defects occurring later on in the process. So coffee cherries, we know that they form the essence of quality in the cup, and as a roaster, you can also find that ripe cherries ultimately will provide better sweetness in the cup, and sweetness sells. A sweet cup of coffee is definitely preferred by consumers more than a cup of coffee that's slightly unripe or slightly sour. The benefit of ripe cherries is also that they help to prevent processing defects. But we also know that coffee pickers must be offered incentives to pick ripe cherries only. This is an issue that I always stumble across in quality improvement trainings and programs in the world of coffee. When it's about cupping, then we know that it's so important that cupping techniques around the world are standardized among coffee professionals. That cuppers are being sent, for example, to really good cupping trainings like the Q training program. As Boot Coffee, we've been involved in the implementation of Q in a number of countries in the world, like Colombia, Ethiopia, and El Salvador. Or that evenly important that a cupper participates in an international program like Cup of Excellence or other type of competition. Or, and this is important I think to emphasize to producing countries, that there's a more opportunities given and provided to female cuppers. In general, women are better cuppers than men. When we work with roasters in roast profiling trainings or the education process to develop this profile, so not over roasting your beans will help specialty coffee. In the end, you have to realize is that origin coffee, what's the fascinating part of coffee in the cup. In San Francisco, in a really nice bar with a beautiful heart. Now that's really the important closing chapter of this fascinating but difficult